Welcome to the third day of the LivenArch VIII 2023 Congress. I am Aysun AYDIN. The main theme of this session is education. We are going to listen for presentations about architectural education. And of course, all these four researches are related with the main theme of Congress, which is redegeneration in architecture. Dear participants, first of all, we're going to listen the presentations. Then after we move on the Q&A session. Firstly, I want to pronounce the presenters, our researchers to you. Our first presenters is from Ankara Top University, Elif, Sultan and Aktan. Our second presentation is from Ankara, again, Top University, Tugce, GURSEL and Aktan. Our third presentation is from Granada University, Spain and Yıldız Technical University, Muhammed Ali Heyik, Esin Yılmaz, Nazlı Arslan, Tuğçe Darendeli, Özge Ceylin Yıldırım, Elif Çelik and Meral Erdoğan. Our fourth presenter is from Konya Technical University, Zafer, KUYRUKCU and Raziye, CINAR. Good luck, all of you. Then we're going to listen first presentation, Elif, Sultan and Aktan. Their title is From Projective Methods to Real-Time Digital Construction of Architectural Space in First Year Architectural Education. Elif, Sultan, we're listening to you. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Elif Sultan and welcome to this presentation where we embark on a journey of representation, comprehension and exploration of the space within the realm of architectural education. This research argues that the projective methods used in architectural education are insufficient for students to explore, comprehend, and represent the space. For this reason, the research searched for tools that encompass the students' subjective experience and enable them to rediscover their own body and space. In this presentation, the limits and future of traditional orthographic projection in representing, comprehending, and exploring the space, especially in comparison with the new methods such as collaborative spatial production in virtual reality, will be discussed. While drawing has been a means of communication for people, it has become more important for architects. Therefore, the orthographic projection used by architects is a different tool from a sketch and a form of representation. These drawings are created using descriptive geometry principles to ensure that they accurately represent the drawn object. Descriptive geometry enabled the development of orthographic drawing created by the French mathematician Gaspard Monge in 1798. It's a mathematical system used to represent and describe three-dimensional objects in two-dimensional plane through the use of projections. Monge's descriptive geometry is important because it distinguishes special configurations from orthographic projection. But in the 21st century, descriptive geometry education has expanded to embrace new technologies and instructional approaches. Traditional methods of architecture have been questioned for many years, like all design schools which overlap with each other and seek different ways for the same purpose, have tried to produce different methods on a new axis. And likewise, the purpose of this research is to reveal the methods that are suitable for changing student profiles in the teaching process and that have developed over time. The physical experience of being in a space can impact cognition and understanding of the space. Special skills argue that the mind and body are not separate, but the perspective poses that our sensory and motor experiences are not merely byproducts of thoughts, but rather play a crucial role in shaping cognitive processes. New technologies are being used in architectural education, including virtual and augmented reality, 3D modeling, and printing and simulation software. These technologies can help students visualize and manipulate three-dimensional spaces in a way that is highly difficult with traditional drawing and modeling techniques. This research is continuing with experiments carried out in the context of the thesis within the scope of the Top Economy and Technology University Architecture Graduate Program. A pilot experiment was conducted with 9 undergraduate students who took the first year Basics Design Studio and 10 graduate students. Students who had no previous experience with VR were selected for this experiment because the goal of this pilot experiment is to distinguish between an experienced and inexperienced designer. And 2 different VR applications were used as tools for this study. The first one of these was ACAR. And ACAR allows users to work at any scale and even allows them to jump inside their models at a human scale and review architectural designs in a VR environment, and can be used by a group of people to discuss and evaluate different design options in real time. OpenBrush can be like a boundless 3D canvas, offering a rich array of versatile tools that empower boundless creativity within an expansive virtual space. These tools are instrumental in facilitating a comprehensive exploration of production and representation process within 3D immersive domains, where the entirety of body is intricately involved, thereby aligning with the principles of embodied cognition. Using these experiment tools, basic design students are allowed to explore this environment and are allowed to redesign. Experiments started with basic design students were first asked to explore OpenBrush and RQ. In the next lesson, students were given the task of building a shelter design according to the parameters of the VR universe. Students first tried to design a virtual reality environment during the lesson. At the same time, graduate students were also exploring these environments and designed different surfaces and dynamic brush tools on RQ and OpenBrush. Afterwards, they were all asked to write evaluations focusing on traditional design methods in the light of the experiences gained from these environments. When the students' reports were examined, the results were as follows. Graduate student architects think virtual reality is breaking boundaries, but a few of them also think that these tools won't replace the use of pen and paper. Most of the 9 graduate students expressed extremely positive evaluations of the use of the VR environment, citing its capacity to provide a one-to-one scale view of designs and enable rapid transitions to smaller scales. However, the student identified as YL3 suggested that being in such a virtual environment could cause a perceptual disconnection from the architectural context. All the graduate students stated that working in a virtual environment created 3-dimensional comprehension and assimilation of architectural schemes. Almost all the students accept the difference and novelty of working in this environment. However, they see the unlimited scalability of architectural structures as a problem and have difficulty perceiving it. However, the model experiments carried out by the first-year students immediately after discovering OpenBrush were particularly interesting. None of the students engaged in VR preferred traditional architectural materials such as cardboard or balsa wood, which are common choices, and instead choose styles of expression in the models based on the expected effects within the spatial fields. This study undertakes a critical examination of orthographic methods, contending that these techniques, which were remained largely unchanged since their 18th century inception, have primarily assumed that the role of the representation rather than fostering a comprehensive understanding of space. The study does not purpose to supplant orthographic methods, but rather seeks to clarify avenues for enhancing the perception and development of spatial understanding. Consequently, within the framework of the study's objectives, an experiment was conducted to address the limitations of orthographic techniques in the realms of spatial comprehension, exploration, and representation. The results revealed that graduate students were able to design quite well with VR and perform real-scale maneuvers in the architectural field. However, it seems that less experienced designers have difficulty adjusting to this new environment and that they are experiencing problems due to deficiency in orthographic drawing rather than deficiency in VR. Still, it could be argued that VR technology has introduced a notable difference in the methods of model making and representation prepared by undergraduates after taking virtual reality courses. This influence particularly contributed to their educational development. This experiment sought an answer to the question claimed in this study as proposed within the scope of the thesis and brought it closer to its purpose. Prospective research aiming to examine students' spatial representations in virtual environments through experiments among architecture students at different levels is promising for enriching the breadth of the knowledge in this field in the future. And here are my references, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much, Elif Sultan Kaya.
You're welcome.
We have questions at Q&A session. Now our second presentation is Tugce GURSEL. Their title is, and with Aktan also, an investigation of the effects of using implicit learning in architectural basic design course content on learning processes through OneNote assignments. Please start.
Guest, I sincerely thank you for being here to listen to my presentation titled Metamorphosis of First-Year Architecture Students, Insight from Shelter and Designer Chest. This research explores the development of first-year architecture students at Top University of Economics and Technology over 2 academic years in the Basic Design Studio. The Basic Design Studio values individuality and personal growth, aiming to enhance independence and self-assessment skills. The research method involves weekly analysis of designer chest content and its relationship with shelter, tracing changes over time. Shelters are created in the Minecraft Education Edition, offering self-organization space for students to gather and review experiences. Designer chests serve as a logbook for students to document reflections and store information for future review. The study draws from educational theories like Piaget, Vygotsky, and Dewey, emphasizing the influence of preparedness, prior experiences, and the social environment on learning. The findings reveal individual trajectories and common reactions among students, shedding light on the dynamic nature of learning in design education. The study emphasized the importance of tools like designer chest and the shelter in monitoring student growth and provides insights for educators to enhance design education. By comparing individually prepared progress trajectories for each student, common differentiations, responses, and changes have been observed in students at 4-week intervals. These differentiations have been grouped under common headings and listed. These headings have been named as follows: assimilation, experimentation, accordance, chaos, excitement, integration. It illustrates how students evolve and adapt to architectural challenges using various tools and software to express their ideas. The assimilation process spans the initial 4 weeks. According to Miller, assimilation is the process of fitting new information into existing cognitive structures. In line with Piaget's concept of assimilation, this stage is named to represent students integrating new experiences into their mental schemas. To summarize the observed situations with a few examples, the first student revised its initial shelter, drawing inspiration from churches observed in their art history class. Looking at another example, the second student continued with its initial shelter for the first 4 weeks by adding modifications. It changed the position of the windows, altered the shape of the roof, and mentioned that it had a garden to its shelter. All selected students initially created a house in their first shelters. In the following weeks, the students applied the mentioned changes. It's observed that the students did not specify what the action in their shelter would be, but they no longer gave the description of a house. From the 4th week onwards, students began combining visuals with their writings. Any step for this transformation is noticeable in a selected student's designer chest, uploaded before and after the 4th week. During the assimilation, group assignments led students to form their friends groups. Over time, these groups engaged in pair learning, as seen in a Minecraft assignment where a skilled student taught coding to peers. Afterwards, students who learned to code apply it in their own shelters. During the time interval spanning 5 to 8 weeks, it has been observed that the reflexes and the actions involved in the process of assimilation exhibit differentiation. This stage is named experimentation, to express the process where the students attempts to adapt their existing schemas to new information by generating numerous response-seeking attempts. To summarize the observed student situations with a few examples, the first student asserted that its constructor is sheltered using a sketch and adhering to the proportions based on the Minecraft Education Edition unit. The second student expressed that it modified the materials of the shelter it conducted, as it believed shelter should be more harmonious with its surroundings. The students are observed trying different scale experiments with the help of various software programs. They are seen placing human silhouettes on different scales within their designs to achieve different expressions. It can be observed that the students are attempting to narrate their construction process of their shelters. They have tried to express themselves by creating sketches and using comments in OneNote, and they have also attempted to design their OneNote page. Students who have completed the assimilation and experimentation phases are transitioning to the accordance phase, which covers the last 4 weeks in the first semester. This stage is called accordance to express that students have become accustomed to intensive pace of architectural education, and to indicate that they have reached an awareness that there is no single correct answer in the architectural education. When looking at the example, it's evident that the student is attempting to recreate the shelter it made in the Minecraft Education Edition using the SketchUp program. Compared to the assimilation phase, the increase in the number of uploads where they share their collages, drawings, and models indicates that they have gained sufficient self-confidence. It's observed that the students make material changes compared to their initial shelters, trying different conceptual experiments, altering the function of the shelter, and creating different voice for light and shadow experiments. The first 4 weeks of the second semester had been defined as the chaos stage. This stage is named chaos to express the shared state of confusion, tension, and panic that students are experiencing during this phase. The difficulty level of the work carried out in this stage has increased. In this stage, the reinterpretation of game Manifold Garden in the Minecraft Education Edition game was requested. It is stated that students started to recreate the assignment again due to the incorrect proportions. It can be seen that before attempting the new integration, the students tried to produce it with the help of sketches and a model. The period following the chaos phase is referred as the excitement phase. This stage is designated as excitement to represent the collective confidence, enthusiasm, and eagerness to create that the students are experiencing during this phase. This example highlights the students' proficiency in utilizing various programs effectively, pursuing work from a human scale, and representing ideas through drawings. Students effectively use various programs to express ideas, pursuing work at a human scale through drawings. They explore visual reality for better comprehension. The last 4 weeks of the Basic Design Studio have been defined as the integration phase. This stage is named the integration phase, as students collectively demonstrate the target awareness towards the architecture profession and education within the studio, allowing them to integrate their understanding effectively. It's observed in this phase whether the developments and the changes seen during the excitement phase are permanent or not. In this stage, 2 different situations have been observed among the students. In the first situation, students approach weekly design problems nationally. Reviving their designer trust, their use of architectural software and explanations for their design decisions are apparent. Drawings and the visual are transformed into sheets. In the second situation, some students struggle to initiate or advance design process when faced with diverse weekly design challenges. Based on the conducted analysis and the emerging findings, it's observed that students' development can be traced through the designer chest and the shelters. It is deducted that each student can be individually monitored, and the areas where they have shortcomings can be identified. Therefore, it's anticipated that their development will increase when this tracking is done in real time during the process. The presence of spaces like the designer chests and the shelter where students can express themselves individually is essential within the course content. It's concluded that each student's development trajectory is unique, but they exhibit common reactions within certain time intervals. The assessments have resulted in the conclusion that there are 2 separate student profiles. Students who can finish each phase step by step and employ the steps they have accomplished in the subsequent phases pass the course with the average to above average grades according to their final grades. Students who pass through the phases of developmental stages in a variety of ways contribute to the second student profile. Due to the more complicated way they finish the phases, it's challenging to comprehend what and when they learn it. It can be noticed from the final grade of the students in this profile that they receive below average grades. It was noted that every student who fit this criteria retook the course. It's observed that they complete the steps of developmental stages in order when they take the course again. The most significant conclusion to be made from this is that each student may require a different amount of time to complete their developmental stages. This does not constitute grounds for declaring the students ineligible or incapable. Just the length of time for learning is variable. In this situation, the students should not be approached negatively. Thank you very much for listening to me. We have come to end of my presentation. These are all the sources included in the study.
Thank you very much, Tugce GURSEL. We have we are at third presentation. Now, fourth presentation. Zafer KUYRUKCU, Raziye from Konya Technical University. Their title is An Elderly Friendly Life Workshop Experience. You can start.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am Raziye, a graduate student of Department of Architecture. Today, I will make a presentation you about the presentation on an experience of a geriatric life workshop that we are working with Assistant Professor Zafer KUYRUKCU. As in all developed countries today, life expectancy has increased with the development of medical conditions in our country, and there has been an increase in the elderly population. As a result, elderly care homes appear as an issue that needs to be worked on. Within the scope of this study, based on the perceptual and functional transformation of nursing homes, which are currently called Geriatric Life and Care Centers, a studio study aimed at understanding this phenomenon, spreading it and improving the quality of life of the elderly was aimed. Scope and method of study. Within the scope of study, it's aimed to design a care and living center where the elderly can receive the necessary care and treatment in the Studio 7 workshop. In the study, the architectural design process and architectural products of the Studio 7 will be presented. Architecture shapes, develops, and transforms depending on societies and social needs. From this point of view, housing and treatment centers for the elderly have become a part of normal life today. In the past, the logic of the formation of these structures was aimed only at meeting the basic needs of the elderly. However, today it's emphasized the importance of ensuring that the elderly feel at home in the centers and meet their socio-cultural needs with their peers. Geriatry is a health field that makes it possible for the elderly to receive the necessary support and treatments they need and adapt to the process against the ailments and changes that people face due to old age, and geriatric life centers have been established in accordance with these requirements. These centers provide solutions to some problems such as health problems. The production of solutions to the problems and needs of the elderly has a very serious social importance, so that architecture needs to understand the sensitivity needed in this direction and produce solutions. Based on this problem, Konya Technical University of Department of Architecture Studio 7 workshop aimed to design a care and living center where all these requirements for the elderly will be met. Now I will tell you about this studio experience process step by step. Step 1. Conceptual framework. In the first weeks of the design process, the development of geriatric life centers in our country and around the world has been analyzed from past to present in order to collect information about this subject and define the requirements program. In this regard, students were asked to make poster studies and presentations. Step 2. Environmental analysis. A land area of 100,000 square meters within the boundaries of Meram Konya has been defined as the study area. Field trips were organized. The connection between the land and environments was analyzed. Step 3. Requirements program. A requirements program was established together with the students. You can see that requirements programs main departments such as entrance department, casual common space departments, health units departments, cultural and social activities departments. Step 4. Function diagram. After the creating of the requirements program, students were asked to work on the function diagram in order to create spatial organizations. Step 5, Stain Study. With this stage step-by-step introduction to the project has been made. After recognizing the terrain, reading environmental relations, creating a requirements program, and creating a function diagram and spatial organization, students were asked to work on stain studies that will form the basis for appropriate project designs. Step 6, Layout and Floor Plans. Depending on the collect data, stain studies and critics, students were asked to analyze the 2 and 3 dimensional general mass function, layout plan and floor plans of the geriatric life centers projects. Step 7, and so students created the floor plan, section and view of their projects. You can see in this paper students' projects view and sections. When looking at the views and sections, a horizontal spreading design is seen for use for the elderly. The last step is 8, Process and Result Project Products. The process has been advanced in line with the criticism conclusion. When looking at the products, it was seen the experience of a studio study aimed at improving the quality of life of the elderly was completed with positive results. You can see Group 1's rendering works and handmade model. In this paper, you can see project of Group 2's presentation sheets and their rendering works and handmade model, and project of Group 3 presentation sheets, rendering works and handmade model. When the whole process and students' projects are discussed, we can say the following. As a result, the Geriatric Life Center project for the fall semester of 2022-2023 was successfully completed as a result of interactive information transfer and experience under the coordination of Assistant Professor Zafer KUYRUKCU. In this context, where students approach the subject sensibility, it has been seen that structures with the expected spatial quality have been created, visitor-oriented, offering space for elderly people to socialize, integrated with nature that are suitable for the land structure and have strong ties with the environment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Raziye, CINAR. Now we finish all our presentations. We are on moving to Q&A session. First of all, I would like to thank you for all these presentations. I have some questions to our presenters. First, I want to ask a question to Elif, Sultan and Aktan. First of all, I would like to thank for you this interesting presentation. I agree with all your ideas, especially this technology can provide architects and designers with a powerful tool for visualizing space. In the context, of course, in the context of education method. What I am curious about at this point is how such digital tools and methods can affect the architectural profession. In other words, do you think the influence of the architect or designers will decrease with these technologies?
First of all, I'm happy to share our research in this environment, and thank you for that. And I think it's actually obvious that designers will be greatly influenced by developing technology. In fact, one of the main purposes of this our research is to measure the effect of AR or VR technologies, which are very popular today, and in creating the designer's perception of the space. To put in my own opinion, with the correct use of developing technology in education, it's not difficult to make innovations that currently seem impossible to create. I can say that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a question to second presenter, Tugce GURSEL. First of all, I would like to thank this research in a particular because as a mother of two sons, they are 10 years old and 12 years old. They spent their all day life in Minecraft play. And after this presentation, I'm very, very relieved because now I won't disturb them. Let's play. Okay, when we go into back architectural education, as far as I know from my boys, Minecraft defines an area constantly only all cubes. In this point, isn't the students' design reflects restricted?
Thank you for the question. The cube form of Minecraft has a number of advantages, actually, that increase the popularity of the game. The form makes game easy to understand and allows for creativity, offers fairness and customization opportunities, and has a lower system requirements. Therefore, the cube form of Minecraft is loved and prepared by a wide and diverse base of players. These advantages are especially important for the first-year architecture students in their introduction to design and architecture. After our study, we can conclude that it allows students to express themselves more easily. It creates a free space for first-year architecture students where they can feel comfortable. As a result, while its simplicity makes it easy for first-year architecture students, they get acquainted with design and architecture by trying different things in this simplicity.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer.
You're welcome.
I have a question to our fourth presentation. Thank you very much for the presentation. I want to ask that, did the students suggest a common concept or space without being aware of each other?
Actually, yes. When we look at students' work, I can say that in general, the function of buildings that spreads horizontally and has few floors in a common language. This building design aims to provide easy use depending on the students' acceptance of the phenomenon of old age. In addition, students working independently of each other have adapted to needs of the elderly and have produced socio-cultural space to activity done during these old periods. These plays are aimed at both the elderly and the user audience. Thus, it's aimed to integrate them with, associate with, and instinctively understanding of old age. These areas, which are mainly seen in the layout plan, are greenways when looking at the common language. In other words, students generally had an intermediate language, both instinctively and as a result of interactive information transfer made during the first week of the studio experience.
Okay, thank you very much. Dear participants, do you have any question to our presenters? Do you have any questions for each other? Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much. I'm here to collect these very interesting presentations. Now I'm closing the session. It's nice to see you, Aktan here again. Nice to see you. Okay.
Likewise, hocam. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, have a nice day.